Welkom bij NGN TV. Mijn naam is Frank Korpershoek en vandaag heb ik hier Richard Dol. He is Director ISV. Welkom Richard.
Hi.
Nice to have you here. We're at Brainshare Amsterdam and we are going to talk about appliances and the future of it.
Okay, great.
So what's all the fuss about?
Well, as you know, Novell has now started this appliance program, and we built a really cool product that's called SUSE Studio. It's been online since last summer. Users could sign up, they could create appliances based on Linux, download them, use them, modify them, and really experience what we are changing the model on how software is being used now, because customers have all these challenges in installing and configuring and modifying the software that they run on their servers. And with an appliance, the whole process becomes a lot simpler. And that's why it's a real movement now of people saying this is changing how we're looking at deploying and installing things in our server environments.
And how does this creation of appliances, how does this process work?
So it's fairly simple. What we have done is we've taken the pieces of Linux and we've made them available behind the browser interface. So we have all the packages and components of Linux available. We start out with a template. The template contains all the core elements of the operating system. There's a minimal configuration that we call JUICE, just enough operating system. And then there is the list of packages, and the user uses the browser and just clicks together the packages that he needs or she needs for what they want to do. They can add the application software by simply uploading the packages into the system. And then eventually they have a package list, and the system then automatically builds it as a VMware image, as a USB stick bootable image, as an ISO image, and the system does all that without anybody downloading anything. And when everything is done, it can be downloaded as a completed image. And the nice thing is, it gets saved in the user account as a template, and next time you go into your account, you have all the pieces already there. You just make a few modifications, and you can create a new appliance again.
So no hassle with CDs anymore?
No, none. It's all on our servers. You can actually install the SUSE Studio product as part of the appliance toolkit on your own systems, behind your own firewall. So we offer that as an option. But we have a Novell hosted version of it on susestudio.com, and so no hassles with CDs anymore.
I have seen something about Test Drive. Can you tell us something about it?
Yes. So Test Drive is a feature that takes this whole idea of running this process on a hosted interface another step further. So before, when you install something or when you configure the system, you have to basically do this and boot the server yourself, right? You have your physical piece sitting there and you boot it up, you realize there's a problem, you change the configuration, you boot it up again. You don't have to do this. Test Drive allows you to do this basically virtually by starting a virtual machine, and you see the window, you see the start screen and the boot screen, all the scripts executing, you know exactly what's going on. It's basically like a boot simulation of your actual appliance, and now you can make changes. You say, okay, there was a problem, or I need to add a script, or I need to add another package to it, or change the configuration, and then you test drive it again, and only when you're totally satisfied, you create the appliance and you're done.
And when your appliance is done, that's the moment where you download it.
Exactly.
So you don't need to download every appliance and test it locally.
Exactly. That's the big savings and time savings here.
What are the users of the SUSE Studio?
So we have everything from community Linux enthusiasts, people that just love Linux, and they've always been looking at SUSE as one of the primary distributions. Now we have really seen a tremendous growth of that kind of user using SUSE Studio Online. But we've also commercial users. So ISVs, software vendors that are using it to build appliances with that, so they integrate their own applications on SUSE Studio and start selling it as complete images or use it for evaluation purposes for their customers, all the way to enterprise customers who use it for internal stack building that they used to do basically by creating a gold image and then cloning the gold image. Now they can do it with SUSE Studio. So we have the whole spectrum of users, including channel partners like system integrators who say, that's a great way to provide a service. Because I have a customer, I need to provide the customer with an installed system. In the past, I had to do all this manually. Now I can create a library of appliances, and then my customers, when I'm a system integrator, my customer gets the completed appliance delivered, and I can sell services alongside that. So it has created a whole ecosystem now.
once this appliance arrives at the customer, are the ISVs able to maintain that appliance?
Yes, so what they can do is, in the appliance toolkit, so SUSE Studio was what I was describing earlier, the browser interface. Now the second piece that's in the appliance toolkit is called the SUSE Linux Lifecycle Management Server. Excuse me, Lifecycle Management Server. What happens is, the ISV can now say, okay, you deploy the appliance in your environment. If you want to maintain it, and as an ISV, I need to change the configuration maybe once or twice a year, I want to make updates to it. I have now the opportunity to use a staging server, the Lifecycle Management Server. I move all my updates to that server, and then my customers connect to the server and pull the updates from there. But they are very specific updates for just the appliance, including the application software and everything that's in that appliance. And so as an ISV, I basically can control what I have sold to my customer from the first day when I sold it to the last day, because I manage the entire life cycle for my customer, and basically is an added service for the customer.
Where can I run these appliances?
Where? On pretty much anything. So you can run it as a Zen image, you can run it as a VMware image. Very soon it'll be also available as KVM. You can have bootable USB sticks. You have a traditional ISO image. I mean, it's endless, and then more and more requests actually come for Amazon EC2. So one thing that we will do is we allow you to actually connect your credentials in Amazon to your SUSE Studio account, and then you can, as one of the options, deploy your completed appliance to Amazon EC2. And it may, over time, it may be other cloud providers as well. So everything you can possibly imagine, we can offer this within SUSE Studio.
Sounds great. So I can run it on my own physical hardware, my own virtual hardware, and virtual hardware on the internet?
Yes. Physical, virtual, cloud, all options will be available. Most of them are already available. So.
And what's coming up next? At this moment, this guy is installing all our appliances. What's coming next in the future?
So obviously from a Novell perspective, what we are doing with the SUSE Studio product is we are setting the beginning stages of our vision of the future of the data center, where we say you build your workloads and you deploy the workloads, and then you can manage, secure, and measure them. This is where all the other Novell products eventually will connect. And one of the things that we want to, of course, establish with this is that the customer can look at the holistic use of their software in the private cloud, in the public cloud, and on their physical and virtual infrastructure. And so one of the things that we will add in SUSE Studio over time will be things like instrumentation, so that we can make these appliances more intelligent and they can be used and monitored and measured, and basically there's more security attached to the appliance inside of an enterprise environment, because a lot of customers want those types of things. So that it's not just building a very nice and self-contained image with Linux, but it also fits into the larger data center strategy of our customers.
Are other vendors also picking up on these ideas, or is Novell ahead of them?
I would say we are clearly ahead. We don't see anybody on the horizon that has anything comparable at the moment. And really, from our perspective, what makes the big difference is that we, from the very first day, wanted to include our partners in this. So the ISVs really who pick up this idea, they take it to another level, right? Because they say, here are the use cases, and we have more and more conversations with companies in all spectrums, vertical, industry, software, middleware components. We have a great partnership with, for example, Ingress, with their database product. They create templates, and then they bring all their partners to SUSE Studio and say, use the template that already includes the Ingress database and build from there, right? So that's the interesting element here, that the other partners are actually taking this model to another level.
Okay, Richard, thank you very much.
It's a pleasure.
Dit was Frank Korpershoek van de NGN Brainshare Amsterdam 2010.